Hello everyone, welcome back to Lychee Techs. Today, we will discuss the most common internet problem caused by Unreliable DNS Service. In the past couple of days, my kids were complaining about the internet connection being down intermittently. Without thinking too much, I told them the easiest solution. I said, kids, whenever you have a Wi-Fi problem, please go down to the basement to power off the internet modem and router, and then wait for 10 seconds and turn the power back on. Well, it works for a while, but the same problem seems coming back again later. I woke up this morning and found out the internet was down again, and I decided to take the time to look into the problem. Before I show you how I fixed the problem, let's check out what is DNS, especially for those who are not very familiar with it. DNS is a directory service that you can find the IP address for an internet domain name or vice versa. The internet traffic is routed by IP address, not by domain name. If this is hard to understand, let's take a step back and think about how a phone book works, especially in the old day before the smartphone era. When you try to phone someone like John Smith, you will first look up your phone book for John Smith's number and use the number to call him. Similarly for internet, when you browse a website like abcd.com, your computer will first look up the DNS server for the IP address of abcd.com and use the IP address to transfer the data. Your DNS server is usually provided by your internet service provider, ISP. There are also free DNS services available like Google DNS. Okay, now let me show you how I fixed my internet problem this morning. First thing I did is to check the connection from my desktop to my home router. This is my home router and I connect to it using its IP address. As you can see, I can log in, which means my internal connection is good. And because I use Wi-Fi, my Wi-Fi is not the problem. We can take it out of the way. Next, let's see if we can connect to the internet outside. I will show you in Centos Linux. The steps to do in Windows might be a little different, but the idea is the same. From Centos Linux desktop, open the terminal app. Now we know at this point that my internal connection is good, so we will check if we can connect to a host on the internet. Try to ping google.com. Oops, it's not working. What about reaching out to an IP address instead of a host name? There is an IP address that you can never forget. That is the Google DNS server, a.a.a.a. Try to ping it, it works. So that means my computer does connect to the internet. However, the problem is that the computer cannot resolve the host name to an IP address. That will point the finger to the DNS server. We can use Linux command to validate that theory. dig is my favorite tool to do that. Let's try to resolve google.com. Type dig google.com. It's not responding. Okay, let's stop it. Let's use Google DNS server instead of the one that assigned for the computer. Type dig google.com at a.a.a.a. It worked. You turn the IP address of google.com and we can ping the IP address. Now we are getting closer to the answer. The cable, DSL, or whatever internet connection is working. The internet is down because the DNS server assigned to the computer is not doing the work. Now let's log back to the router to check how the DNS is configured. I use TP-Link router. other brands could have very different interface. I click Network from the navigation menu. This is the internet connection from the router. You notice that the checkbox Use this DNS server is unchecked. That means the DNS server are assigned automatically by your ISP. Depending on the quality of your ISP service, ISP DNS servers sometimes are not reliable. Google's DNS server are much better, and they are my solution to fix this problem. So let's check the box and use Google DNS server. The router could refresh the network connection, and it might take a while. Now the internet connection to the ISP modem is up. Let's go back to the Linux terminal and try to ping google.com again. It works. Let's try to access google.com from the browser. It works. That's great. My internet is back to work. We are not done yet. There's one more thing that you do not want to miss checking is the DHCP settings from your router. DHCP is a service that assigns the IP address and DNS server to your home computers. I click DHCP from the navigation. As you can see here, the DHCP is configured to assign your router as the DNS server to your home computers. And that is fine because your router is just a DNS forwarder. It will now forward your DNS request to Google's DNS servers. You can still change to Google's DNS server here, so your computer will use Google's DNS directly instead of using your router as the forwarder. It's fine either way. We just ensure that we no longer use your ISP's DNS servers. Google's DNS service is definitely far more reliable than your ISP's. This is not an advertisement for Google. It is what it is. Okay, this will conclude today's video. The most common internet problem, unreliable DNS service. I hope you like it. Please subscribe and support our channel, and I will see you next time.